Welcome to the Legal Insight podcast by HHQ, where we help you unpack the world of law, business, and tech. Now, today, we're diving into a significant topic that is shaping the landscape of technology and law, the European AI or Artificial Intelligence Act. Joining me are two distinguished experts from our technology practice group, Ong Johnson, the head of practice group, and Khai, the co-head of the practice group. Thank you guys for being here again.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Now, Khai, I have to ask, seeing that the EU AI Act spans a hefty 144 pages, what was your initial reaction when you first laid eyes on this behemoth of a legislation?
Well, let's just say that the coffee machine in our office had to really be worked that few days when I was...
That little Nespresso.
Yeah, when I was digesting through the EU AI Act, right? So of course, I think initially when I first flipped through the Act itself, I was very surprised by how voluminous it is. And man, I just thought to myself, this is going to be a very, very difficult to read. It's just going to be very information packed. But of course, I think as I sit down, as I go through the pages of the EU AI Act, I understood clearly why it has to be that length, right? Because artificial intelligence is something that taken very serious of by everybody globally. When OpenAI first made public its ChatGPT, right, it really created a wave of change. A lot of people were talking about it. Some people were marvel at it, right? Some people were very vocal about the negative implications that it may have on their livelihood, on their jobs, right? So naturally, a tool that brought about so much changes when it comes to regulating it, the regulation has to play its part as well. And true enough, the EU AI Act is very comprehensive, and I would think that it captures a lot of the risk that AI might bring.
That's right. It looks like we have to have a giant legislation to actually legislate or regulate a giant innovation.
Yeah.
Now, Johnson, knowing your legendary speed reading abilities, the whole firm knows about it. How long did you take to digest this entire act?
Thanks a lot, Zach. So even with my legendary abilities, as you put it, it took me several focus days, because it's really not about just rushing to finish the law itself. As mentioned by Khai, it's actually 144 pages. What is really crucial for us, especially lawyers, is really understanding and to analyze the law, to fully understand the implication and how the law is going to impact our clients, how the law is going to impact their services, their AI system, their AI model. So I would say that the devil is certainly in the details. And as lawyers, that is what we do day in, day out, which is to really read the law, to analyze the law, to interpret, and to really understand how the law is going to impact and affect our clients.
Absolutely. Now let's dive right into those little devils of details here. Johnson, one of the most crucial aspects of any regulation is its scope. Can you walk us through who exactly needs to pay attention to this act? I understand that it's not just EU-based companies that need to be concerned.
Yes, you are right. In fact, this is one of the most crucial aspects that companies should really take note of. So I would say that the EU law itself is extremely well designed, is extremely well drafted, with the intention for it to actually capture literally everyone within the AI value chain that has the intention to operate or to offer their AI in the Europe market through its extraterritorial scope. So this is something that actually caught many companies off guard. Because the law itself, as I mentioned earlier, it applies to literally everyone within the AI value chains, from, first of all, the provider, even though you are located in a third country. In other words, you are located outside of Europe. As long as you are the one providing the AI or AI system to the market in EU, you'll be captured by that. And that also includes deployer, importer, distributor, or even product manufacturer. And the law is so well drafted, even if you are a provider or you are a deployer, and then you're telling me that, look, Johnson, I'm actually located outside of Europe. But if the output of the AI system is being used in Europe, in the case, you'll be captured by the law already. So many of our clients, they are providing AI in Malaysia. So they are AI companies based in Malaysia. And in the case, their target audience, their target market is not only based in Malaysia alone. They will be wanting to market, to offer their products to Europe as well. So in that case, they will be captured. So I would say that the law itself is really very intentionally drafted to ensure whoever that has an intention to offer their AI system or their AI model to the Europe market, they would need to be accountable by the law, under the law.
That is absolutely fascinating. Certainly something companies worldwide need to keep an eye on in their radar. Now, Khai, looking at the implementation timeline, what key dates should companies be marking on their calendars?
Yep. So the act came into force officially on the 1st of August this year, 2024, right? But as we already spoke about, the act is very expensive. So different chapters of the act would come into force, or rather would be implemented on different dates. The first major milestone is on the 2nd of February of 2025, right? When the first two chapters of the act would be implemented. And those two chapters deal primarily with, I would like to think, as the riskiest or the most disruptive type of AI, which are the AI that are actually prohibited. So no AI companies, no companies in the world should be able to offer these types of prohibited AI as their commercial offerings or their product offerings. So I would like to think that the whole purpose of having a phased and gradual implementation of the EU AI Act is so that companies around the world who have already deployed their AI or who are already in the midst of developing their own AI capabilities, those who are really affected by this EU AI Act, they have a sufficient time to address the regulations, to address the obligations and the requirements that are now being imposed to them by the EU AI Act. So naturally, companies are being given 6 months, right, from the date that the act come into force until 2nd of February of next year to phase out their prohibited AI, or rather redirect or restructure their commercial decisions to maybe steer clear away from the European Union, or maybe not to do business or not allow their AI output to be transferred or to be used all the way in EU, right? To certainly, in a sense, to make changes so that they are not caught by the EU AI Act. While 6 months might seem a really long time, but we will always advise our clients, you better not wait until the 11th hour to start making changes. So if you know that the AI offerings that you are making would fall under the category of prohibited AI, it is crucial to start acting now, to make changes right now, to think about what is your next step. Do you want to phase out this type of AI, or do you want to make changes to your offerings, right? Yeah.
Thanks, Khai. Now, the Act actually uses the terms AI system and general purpose AI model. Johnson, could you help us untangle this distinction that's made in the Act?
Of course, the distinction is actually extremely crucial under the EU AI Act. The reason because there is significant implications for compliance obligations. So I would advise that all companies, the first thing that they are supposed to do under this EU AI Act is to fully understand the AI that they own, the AI that they deployed, or even the AI that they are currently providing, whether it falls under AI system or otherwise general purpose AI model. Because as we mentioned earlier, there is significant implications for compliance obligations. An AI system is essentially a machine-based system designed to actually operate with different level of autonomy. One of the key characteristics of AI system will be the ability to actually infer and to influence environment, whether physical environment or virtual environment, through the outputs such as recommendation, prediction, or even decisions. So AI system, what makes them really special is really the ability to infer or to influence environment. Whereas a general purpose AI model, on the other hand, is served more as, I will use the word, foundational component. This model, they are typically trained using large data sets, and they have the ability for them to perform different tasks. And usually general purpose AI model, they are integrated into downstream system. And what we commonly see or we typically use on the internet, such as ChatGPT, this is what we usually call as generative AI. And then this generative AI will be a typical example of general purpose AI model due to their ability to actually generate different forms of content, such as text, audio, image, or even video. And they have the ability for them to accommodate different tasks. And it's super important for a company to really understand whether the AI that they're using now is AI system or general purpose AI model, because different obligations, different requirements it will be applicable depending whether the AI is AI model or AI system.
Thanks, Johnson. Now, I understand general purpose AI model. I understand ChatGPT or generative AI. Maybe you can give me some examples of AI systems, because in my mind, AI systems versus general purpose AI, the distinction is just whether the purpose is general or specific to a particular company or task.
Yeah. So let me give, let's say ChatGPT. ChatGPT basically is just general purpose AI model because its ability is to really perform different kind of tasks. You ask ChatGPT to just, let's say, draft an essay. Let's say I want a picture of whatever thing. So they'll just generate based on your request. Whereas AI system is usually something with the ability to really influence the decisions, such as social scoring AI system. It means they will analyze your social behavior, and then with that, they will come up with a social report card saying that, look, Zach is of certain skin color, based on his background is as such, his parents' education level, and then with that, they are going to use it to really determine, for example, your admission to university, to determine your loan application, or even your insurance premium. So the difference is really, one is you are using it for advantage, whereas the other one is a third party using it to decide your future, or in other words, deciding how are they going to judge you, how are they going to employ you, or even how are they going to score you.
Yeah, and I think one way that you can look at it in a very simplified manner is AI system. It's pretty much like a software with AI capabilities, right? For example, one of our clients, they're actually perfecting a software to be used by financial institutions and credit reporting agencies, right? That will pull various data from maybe CCM, from banks' inherent documents or profiling about certain of their customers, right? And they'll use all these information to come up with a credit rating per se, right? Not exactly credit rating, but rather a piece of sheet cut that will then tell the financial institutions, for example, what is this person's flight risk, what is this person's credit risk, those sort of things. So that's the AI system. It's a very specific software that perform a certain task with AI capabilities as its backend engine that help. In that particular case, our client actually built in Lambda as their core AI capabilities. Yep. So that's an example of AI system making use of a GPAI, an AI model.
Thanks for the clarification. It's really helpful. Now, Khai, with all these definitions and requirements just swirling around, what would you say is the overarching goal of the EU AI Act, and what is the Act trying to achieve here?
Yeah, so the way I see it is the Act is ultimately trying to provide a guardrail for the development of AI, or for the ethical development of AI. It is not here to inhibit technological growth. It is not here to stop advancement or development of AI technologies, right? When you looked at the bigger picture, definitely AI has a lot of potential. AI has a lot of benefits. But at the same time, if AI is used, or rather misused, it can also cause a lot of harm to the society, to the community. So the Act, how the Act is trying to achieve a balance here to promote ethical development of AI, but at the same time not stifle the advancement of AI. The Act has adopted a very structured risk-based approach. It first creates a tiered system and categorizes AI system based on the type of risk that these AI systems are bringing to the table. Of course, the riskier you are, then, or rather, if you are the red flag kind of risk level, you will just it will just be categorized as AI systems that cannot be developed at all. It will just be prohibited. But if you're high risk, but the risk can still be managed, then let's look. Then the Act will tell you how would they want you to manage that risk? How would they want you to regulate and mitigate that risk, and so on and so forth. Of course, the really plain vanilla kind of AI systems or AI model will just have very little, very loose guardrails around them, if I can put it that way. And that's essentially what the Act is trying to achieve.
Seems very comprehensive. As we wrap up, Johnson, what would be your key advice for companies that might be affected by this new legislation?
My key advice would be start preparing now, even though the implementation is not immediate. But there is significant obligations depending whether you are providing AI system or you're actually just operating general purpose AI model. It's crucial for companies, first of all, to really understand where do they actually fit within the AI value chain. Are they a provider? Are they a deployer? Are they the importer, distributor, or product manufacturer? And then after that, they have to understand the AI that they're currently using, whether it's an AI system or general purpose AI model. And as mentioned by Khai, the first stage they'll be kicked in will be next February, which is the 8 types of prohibited AI practices. In other words, coming next Feb 2025, there will be 8 types of prohibited AI practices that is absolutely prohibited in Europe. So the company should also do internal assessment, internal audit to first ensure the AI model or AI system that they are developing now, it will not in any way contradict or violate the EU AI Act. So really go back to fundamental, really start now, study where you actually stand under the law, and also really go through a deep analysis of your AI system or general purpose AI model.
Thanks, Johnson. As Confucius says, know yourself. Right. So I'm just one last question to follow up in that, like, how do you envisage the enforcement is going to be like, and what is the consequence of non-compliance to the EU AI Act?
So Zach, this is a very good question. We will definitely be looking at the implication of non-compliance later on when we dive deeper into each chapters of the EU AI Act, right? But basically, on a high-level basis, enforcement will come in a form of setting up of an EU watchdog, right? The European Union is going to set up an EU AI office that will essentially monitor and regulate the compliance of the EU AI Act by all the applicable AI companies or companies within the AI value chain. And non-compliance generally will then result in financial implications, financial penalties, right? Based on certain calculations, certain factors. Yeah.
Thanks, Johnson and Khai, for the valuable insights. Now, to our listeners out there, if you want to do a self-assessment, a quick one, we've actually prepared a simple guide for you to follow. And if you actually follow the 4 steps to a self-assess to see whether your AI system is actually high risk or not at risk, you can actually follow the guide in the link down below. Now, you've been listening to the Legal Insight podcast by HHQ. If you found this episode helpful, do share this with your friends who might find it helpful as well. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for joining us today.